Seconds from impact. United Airlines Flight 1722. The cabin lights flickered as Flight 1722, a United Airlines Boeing 737, taxied onto the rain-slicked runway of Denver International Airport. The atmosphere inside the aircraft was a blend of excitement and exhaustion, with passengers settling in for what was supposed to be a routine 2-hour flight to San Francisco. But beneath the hum of engines and murmuring conversations, something felt off. In the cockpit, Captain Daniel Reeves tightened his grip on the control yoke, his sharp blue eyes scanning the instruments. A veteran pilot with over 2 decades of experience, he had seen his share of turbulent flights, but something about tonight's conditions unsettled him. The wind speeds were erratic, the temperature was dropping fast, and the storm forming over the Rockies wasn't behaving as forecasted. His co-pilot, First Officer Lisa Carter, a sharp-witted and highly skilled aviator, noticed his unease. "You all right, Captain?" she asked, adjusting her headset. "Yeah," Reeves muttered. "Just got a bad feeling about this weather." Lisa gave a reassuring smile. "We've handled worse. A to C says we're good to go." Reeves nodded, exhaling slowly. "All right. Let's get this bird in the air." The tower cleared them for takeoff, and the engines roared to life, sending vibrations through the fuselage. Flight attendants moved swiftly, ensuring passengers were buckled in. Among them was Emma Jacobs, a flight attendant who had been with the airline for 5 years. She loved her job, but tonight, as she secured the last overhead bin, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. As the plane accelerated down the runway, a loud thump reverberated through the cabin, sending a jolt of unease through the passengers. "What was that?" a man in 14B whispered to his wife. Emma shot a glance toward the back of the plane, her heart pounding. Then came the smooth liftoff. The Boeing 737 ascended into the stormy night sky. Nobody knew that within minutes, Flight 1722 would be seconds away from disaster. The aircraft climbed to cruising altitude, piercing through thick clouds. Outside, flashes of lightning illuminated the sky, casting eerie shadows across the cabin. Emma moved through the aisle with practiced ease, serving drinks and calming nervous passengers. Near the back, a teenage boy named Jake sat gripping his armrest, his face pale. His mother, Sarah, placed a hand over his. "Just turbulence, sweetheart. We'll be fine." But turbulence wasn't what worried Jake. He had overheard 2 men whispering in the row ahead of him, their voices low and tense. Something about an anomaly in the engine systems. Up front, Reeves and Lisa monitored the instruments closely. "Winds are stronger than expected," Lisa noted, adjusting the throttle. Then, a sharp warning alarm blared. "Engine 2, RPM fluctuation," Reeves said, his voice suddenly rigid. Lisa checked the diagnostics. "Fuel pressure is dropping rapidly. This isn't normal." A violent jolt rocked the plane. The cabin lights flickered again. Passengers gasped, clutching their armrests. Then boom. A loud explosion ripped through the aircraft, followed by a gut-wrenching shudder. The right engine was on fire. Smoke began to trail from the wing. Panic erupted inside the cabin. Oxygen masks dropped automatically as the plane lost altitude. Emma struggled to keep passengers calm. "Please remain seated. Keep your masks on." In the cockpit, alarms blared. "Damn it," Reeves shouted. "Engine 2 is failing completely. We're losing power." Lisa's hands moved quickly across the controls. "We need an emergency descent. Denver's the closest. Requesting immediate return." ATC came through. "United 1722, you are cleared for emergency return. Descend to 10,000 feet immediately." But then another impact. A second explosion rocked the aircraft. Lisa's voice was tight with fear. "We've lost hydraulic control." A desperate fight for survival. Reeves wrestled with the yoke, trying to stabilize the aircraft. "Deploying emergency systems. Brace for impact if we can't regain control." Passengers screamed as the aircraft spiraled downward. In the cabin, Emma clung to the nearest seat, shouting over the chaos. "Heads down. Brace positions." Jake, still holding his mother's hand, closed his eyes, whispering, "Please, please, please." Lisa worked the remaining engine, diverting power to regain altitude. "If we don't slow down, we'll crash outside Denver." Reeves took a deep breath, his training kicking in. He fought the controls, leveling the descent. "Come on, hold together," he whispered. Then, a break in the clouds. The Denver skyline came into view. Lisa called ATC. "Emergency landing. Runway in sight, but we have limited control." The response came instantly. "Cleared for runway 16L. Fire and rescue are standing by." Reeves clenched his jaw. This is going to be rough. The aircraft's descent was still too fast. The landing gear deployed, but with hydraulics failing, there was no guarantee they'd hold. As the runway lights neared, Reeves made a split-second decision. "We'll have to belly land." Lisa's eyes widened, but she nodded. "Let's do it." Seconds from impact, the cabin shook violently. Sparks flew as the belly of the aircraft scraped the tarmac. The impact was bone-jarring. The fuselage screeched, metal grinding against concrete. Flames erupted from the failing engine as emergency crews rushed toward the runway. Inside, smoke filled the cabin. Emma unbuckled and began ushering passengers toward the emergency exits. "Stay low. Move quickly." Jake and his mother stumbled toward the inflatable slide. "Go, Jake. Go," Sarah urged. In the cockpit, Reeves and Lisa worked until the last possible second, shutting down engines. As the aircraft skidded to a halt, firefighters doused the flames. Passengers and crew evacuated, running onto the tarmac. Moments later, the plane exploded. A massive fireball engulfed the wreckage. But miraculously, everyone had escaped in time. Aftermath: the heroes of Flight 1722. The passengers, shaken but alive, huddled together as emergency personnel checked for injuries. Emma, covered in soot, held Jake's trembling hands. "You did great, kid." Reeves and Lisa stood by the wreckage, breathing heavily. "That was too close," Lisa murmured. Reeves exhaled. "But we made it." News helicopters hovered overhead, capturing the wreckage and the miraculous survival story. The world would soon know the tale of Flight 1722 and how, against all odds, the passengers and crew survived what should have been certain death. And as dawn broke over Denver, one thing was clear: heroes aren't always the ones wearing capes. Sometimes they're the ones flying planes or keeping passengers calm at 30,000 feet.